All right. What's up, y'all? Will here with Schedulefly, and this is the Restaurant Owners Uncorked podcast brought to you by us here at Schedulefly. Super simple, web-based restaurant employee scheduling software backed by legendary customer service. And when I say legendary, go to schedulefly.com. You'll find my personal cell phone number on like 3 pages. If you call me, you're going to get me on my flip phone. You can even text me on this thing. We take personal service very seriously and all at a low price point. Since we did not go raise tens and hundreds of millions of venture capital like everybody else, we kept our prices low. We run a profitable business and take great care of our customers. If you're on paper and Excel, come on, guys. We got a better solution for you. If you are on another scheduling software, I will almost guarantee you're paying 2 or 3 times what you would pay for Schedulefly. And we would love to have a chance to talk to you about how we might be able to help. We do have a 30-day free trial, monthly pricing, no contracts, schedulefly.com. Check us out. Call me, text me. Always happy to wrap. Okay. Now let's get into Restaurant Owners Uncorked, episode 650 something, I think, at this point. And I was fortunately introduced to Coffee Rush by my good friend Trey Morgan, who was on this podcast recently. And he said so many great things about Coffee Rush. And so I'm excited to have this conversation. Never met these folks. Looking forward to hearing the story. Ladies, if you would please just introduce yourselves.
Thank you, Will. My name is Tessa Yost. My family started Coffee Rush in 1992, so before I was even born.
Wow.
And yeah, I know, out of Portland, Oregon. And we are recently expanding in South Florida, so it's really exciting.
And I am Samantha Bratton, and I've been with the company since 2017, and I'm the Director of Operations here in Southwest Florida.
All right. Samantha, Tessa, Coffee Rush. So 1992. We're now, wow, 34 years in business.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, it's
So,
exciting.
well, okay. I went to your website and I
Mhm.
saw locations in Oregon and then South Florida. And that was obviously my
Yeah.
first question is tell me Tessa, tell me the backstory, the origin story of everything going on out in Oregon. And then,
Yeah.
what led y'all to South Florida into your expansion there?
Sure. Yeah. So my family, we're from Oregon, born and raised in the Pacific Northwest. It's the coffee capital of the US. So I grew up, you know, learning all about coffee, drinking lots of coffee from a young age. My parents started it in 92, back when coffee was kind of just becoming a thing, right? Like Starbucks was just gaining popularity. There was certainly no drive through coffee, and we are exclusively drive through. So it was a really new concept. And I think a lot of people at that time were like, drive through coffee, like that's never going to make it. It was kind of weird for them, right? But it really took off. A lot of the big drive through companies actually come out of Oregon. Like I'm sure you've heard of Dutch Bros.
Yep.
They actually started the same year as my parents, too. So my parents started it kind of as a hobby. My mom had just had my brother and she didn't want to go back to medical sales. So they just kind of went for it and it turned into a really successful business. So fast forward to 2023. So I was living in South America at the time
Okay.
and I had every plan to move to Miami. And I kind of just started thinking, what do I want to do? I was working in LA in fashion prior to living in South America, and I didn't want to go back to that. So I was like, you know what? I love coffee. I know after having parents who are business owners, I really wanted to own my own business. And so I just kind of started talking to my parents, and we decided, like, let's go for it. And a huge blessing was that Sam was already living in Florida. She moved to Florida in 2020 during COVID. And so Sam and I kind of teamed up and we decided, like, let's do this together. Sam is very talented with operations. She was one of our best managers in Oregon. And so we've become kind of the dynamic duo here in Southwest Florida. It's really exciting.
So, okay. So you started in 92, your folks did with drive-through coffee. Now that definitely was a foreign concept. I mean, I was, well, this will age me. I mean, I started college in 92. I mean, coffee shops really weren't a
Yeah,
thing.
no, there
Um,
was hardly any Starbucks at that time.
yeah.
Um, I always ask my parents, "Why did you guys decide to do it?" And they were just like, honestly, like, it just kinda came to us as a cool idea. Because drive-through coffee, like, I mean, there was none, you know? And
Yeah.
it's really interesting how in the 90s, quite a few drive-through coffee players that are really prominent now started then in the Pacific Northwest. So it's really interesting. But yeah, I kind of look at the Florida market right now as what the Oregon market was back in the early 2000s. I mean, it's not saturated at all. A lot of players are coming into the market in South Florida, but it's nothing like the Pacific Northwest. I mean, even to find a new spot to open up a drive-through coffee shop, it's so hard and it's so overpriced.
Mm.
Whereas in Florida in general, but especially Southwest, and we're also doing Southeast Florida as well. But, especially Southwest, it's so underdeveloped that it just feels like there's, like, endless opportunity out here, which is really exciting, and I think that's also why a lot of drive-through companies, in the coffee industry are coming out here.
They were your folks were very forward thinking because when Starbucks came out, what Starbucks wanted to be referred to or referred to themselves as was the third place.
Mhm.
Your home,
Yeah,
your office,
yeah.
and your Starbucks where you go and you hang, which was very attractive, conceptually. And I mean, they really, I don't personally prefer Starbucks and don't go to Starbucks. I give them a lot of credit though for being at the tip of the spear with just the idea of going out to get
Yeah.
coffee. And now the idea of a drive-through back then was very ahead of the time. What was it about? Why did they just want to do drive-throughs?
I think 2 parts. It felt different, right? I mean, drive-through back then, convenience is always popular, right? I mean, people
Right.
still always need convenience. I think finding quality and convenience is much more difficult. So I think that part was attractive to them. And it was just something different and it was accessible. I mean, the first coffee rush was I mean, like our shops are really small. I mean, we are dual drive through. We have a walk up window, but we are much smaller than all the other drive through coffee shops. Our footprint is just, we make it work in a really tight space. But it was more accessible, right? I mean, you could literally take a few parking spots in a parking lot and pop up a drive-through coffee shop. So I would say it was different and accessible at that time.
Gotcha. Okay. Is that where you would put them out in like the parking lot of a mall or something
Yeah,
like that?
that's
Or
that was the original kind of business plan. Our first stores in Oregon were literally you take overparked parking lots outside of like a grocery store or, a big box retailer, and those parking spots don't get used, right?
Hmm,
So the landlord isn't making any money off those spots. So we kind of come in, we're like, hey, like you can make additional revenue off of us if you let us put our shop here and we'll pay you rent, right? So it's kind of a win-win. And it's interesting because as we've been doing this expansion in Florida, we have 8 stores right now that we are kind of in process. One has opened, our next one's opening in a few months, and then everything else is in the permitting process still. And getting that concept um, to where the landlords understand, like, hey, this is like extra money for you that you're not going to make because you can't put a Chick-fil-A in an overparked parking lot, right? I mean, it's too big, it's too chaotic. But us, we're perfect. We're dual drive through. We'll have like max, because we're really fast, like 5 cars on either side. So there's not like a lot of car stacking going on. That's going to disrupt the flow of traffic. So it's been a challenge actually to get landlords to understand the concept of dual drive through. But so far, we are having success with it. And the landlords we're working with, we're really blessed, have been very accommodating and excited about our concept.
Do you so are your folks still running the locations out in Oregon?
Yeah. Yep.
Okay.
Yes.
And do you own all of the locations, or are you all franchising? Or
No, so we're family owned through and through. We don't want a franchise. Quality is extremely important to us. The backbone of Coffee Rush and the way my parents have built this business from day one is first and foremost customer service. We offer really high quality coffee, so you're getting that quality and convenience. But customer service and just who we are as people is so important to what Coffee Rush is, and we don't wanna dilute that in any way. And so we're really proud to be family owned, and we're not planning on franchising. We wanna keep it within the family so that we can control that quality.
okay, well, okay. So talk about customer service, because when I
Yeah.
think of 5 cars each side coming through, give me my coffee, get me
Yeah.
through here and get it. I, I love that you are focused on customer service, because my inclination would be to think that the customers themselves might not even be expecting customer service. So if they get that,
Yeah.
if they get some presence and some intention, that probably is a differentiator.
Absolutely, and honestly, it's the best part of the job. I think we really surprise our customers with how fun and engaging we are when we're hiring people, and Sam can talk about this as well. When we're hiring people, we look first and foremost like personality. Like, do you have what it takes to make an impact on someone's day? Sometimes in 30 seconds or less, right? Because it has to be quick. Like, we don't want a long line of cars and people waiting 20 minutes for their coffee. They're on the road. They need that convenience. So they're in and out in under 2 minutes sometimes if we have a long line. Of course, if there's no line and a regular shows up, we're gonna talk their ear off until they leave. But in those short interactions, we have to hire people that can make an impact in such a short amount of time. And so that's so key for us. And I think, honestly, that's one of our biggest differentiators when it comes to our competitors is the interaction piece. We get more praise on our employees than we do on our coffee. And the irony is our coffee is also really high quality. We use really good ingredients and we try really hard to serve a really good product. Um, but it's always the interaction that keeps the people coming back. And I honestly think it's because that's something that lacks a little bit in today's day and age, right? Because coffee is something you do every day. And there's not a lot of like pieces outside of your home and work life that you do every day, right? Like maybe you go to the gym every day, maybe you go to the grocery store every day, but outside of that, what do you do every day? Coffee is that everyday thing. So we're seeing our regulars every day. We know all about their lives. And so when we're training our employees, we're like, you need to know their name and you need to know their order. And if you see that so and so is 3 cars back in line and you know what they're going to order because people don't change their coffee orders very often, let's see if we can have their coffee ready for them by the time they pull up to the window. And then you get a little bit more time to be like, what are you doing today? How's your wife? How's your kids? How was your vacation? You know, so that definitely, I would say, sets us apart most between us and our competitors.
Let's talk a little bit more about that, because I think you just hit on an extremely important point, which is something we've been talking a lot about on this podcast lately. In fact, I can't tell you how many owners that I've had on here that have talked about the importance of just simple things like eye contact.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Um, when you show in today's world of screens and technology and AI and all of this stuff that's so overwhelming, humans want human connection,
Yeah.
period. We always have, we always will. And when we get it, particularly now, we recognize it more than ever. I mean, when your folks started Coffee Rush in 1992, that's just what you did. Like,
Yeah.
didn't, that's how you ran a business. That's how you interacted with with customers. If you were going to run a successful business, um, now you see it less and less. So I think you appreciate it
Yeah,
more and
absolutely.
more.
And you know what the fun part is like I mean, we have new customers every day. And so we give them that piece of connection that they didn't expect from a drive through. And then we see them the next time and the next time. And they also kind of come out of their shells a little bit. And
Mhm.
like, before you know it, it's like, oh gosh, like that person, they used to be so quiet and shy. And now they just talk our ears off and they really open up. I mean, it's so funny the stories we hear from customers just by asking them how they're doing. I mean, people are really craving real human connection. And I think especially the younger generation because, I'm 31, Sam is 34, 33.
Yeah.
I'm so sorry.
Oh, no.
You're 30. She looks like she's 27, okay?
I was going to say neither one
Yeah,
of you look that
yeah.
old, but
No, but especially, I consider us kind of like that last generation that actually had a childhood before screens, right? Like we played outside. I didn't get a cell phone, I think, until like high school.
hmm
So I look at the younger generation kind of beneath us, which is most of our employees are, they're college kids and they are so accustomed to being on screens and kind of getting that false sense of connection and that dopamine hit that they forget like about having it in real life and what that feels like. And so our customers, they just open up and it's so fun for us to experience. And now that our first store here in Florida has been open for a little over 3 months now, and now I see my employees who are college students talking about the customers and like, oh, so and so told me this really funny story today, and they love it too. And so it's really like enjoyable for Sam and I to not only see like the customers enjoying it, but our own employees who weren't expecting it at all when they first started with us.
Yeah, I don't think they realize, what a coffee job looked like. They're like, oh, I'm going to come in, I'm going to make really fun drinks. They're going to be really pretty. And we're like, no, it's so much more about the connection piece. And they have met so many great people in this short amount of time. And I'm like, this is a great job, especially for girls and guys that don't know where they see themselves long term in a career. So the tools that we give them to take wherever they go in their next, career journey is awesome with Coffee Rush, and they can build so many new connections through it.
Oh, yeah. The networking is great.
that yeah, with all those regular customers. Well, Samantha or Sam?
Either one. You can call me Sam. That's great.
So tell me your backstory. How did you first get into hospitality?
I grew up like my mom was a business owner. She owned restaurants growing up and she also owned a clothing store. So I grew up in like a family business in a sense. And then I started coffee when I was 18 in college and worked for a local shop in Idaho. And then I moved to Portland and found Coffee Rush. But before then I worked for BlackRock, which is another kind of big coffee retailer in the area. And so I found Coffee Rush in 2017 and I fell in love with the culture. So our mission statement is genuine baristas serving an authentic experience. And to me, that's so important, to be genuine. Like you shouldn't be fake with your customers at the window. And that ultimately set the culture. And then I grew in management through Coffee Rush and ended up moving out to Florida and was like, there's so much opportunity for drive-through coffee. I would go to a couple local spots and then Starbucks and Dunkin'. And I'm like, this is nothing like Coffee Rush. Like they're really missing, a really good coffee retailer out here. And so it was really exciting to move here and realize how much opportunity there is.
So talk to me about um, you've mentioned Dutch Brothers. I know of that. I know of Seven Brew. All of these ones that are just kind of going like crazy. I think I know the answer, but how do you compete with that, with the branding and the awareness and just, the momentum that brands like that have?
Yeah. I mean, at first it is really hard. I mean, we have a brand established in Oregon, but we don't in Florida. And so that's been a hurdle we've had to kind of figure out creatively how we can get our brand out there, because once it is out there, I know like people are going to prefer us over them. And I don't say that in an egotistical way. I say that because I know like customers tell us like that's their feedback is like, I went to the Seven Brew that just opened in Port Charlotte, and you guys are so much better. Like my coffee tastes so much better. Like I love you guys so much more. And so I think getting brand awareness, it's super critical right now with the first few stores opening in Southwest Florida, and it kind of builds on top of itself. I will say one thing we do for every grand opening is we have a free coffee day. So for the whole day, we give out free coffee, and that really helps, get customers to come to us, because who doesn't love free, right? So that's like one creative way we kind of get the word out there. But also like, because we're so focused on customer service, we build relationships so fast. And I'll go back to that networking piece. We network like crazy to get our customers to kind of, in a sense, do the work with us, right?
Mm.
So one thing we do is we give first responder discounts. So like the police officers and the firefighters, they love us and we love them. Like it's so fun when we see the fire truck pull up and they all get out and the officers come through. And so they are always telling people like, hey, go to Coffee Rush. Like, they're the best, like best coffee you'll have. So I think just that engagement piece really helps us, because we have our customers telling people. And I think word of mouth is still one of the best ways to get the word out there, because you can see a new place on TikTok that looks really cool and you're probably going to go. But if your friend tells you like, no, you have to check out this coffee shop, like it's the best, you're going to go. So I think that's also where that customer service networking piece comes in. I will say like, we have a lot of new players coming in, and Dutch Bros just opened up 2 spots in the area, and they naturally do get a lot of attention because it's a new thing in the area that so many people already know about. Oh, like I have Dutch Bros back in my hometown. I'm so excited, right? So we do still, struggle compared to them getting our brand out. But I think with time, because we have plans to grow really quickly, um, it'll get easier and easier. So that second store is opening in 3 months, and that's close to our first store. And then the third store is going to open after that, and that's all in the same area. And then we're doing the same thing on the east side of Florida. So we're kind of like starting in one place on each side of the coast and growing out from there, so that we can build that brand awareness in areas, right?
Opening quickly, like how many stores will you open this year?
So by the end of this year, we'll probably have 6 open. I mean, the permitting process in Florida is no fun. We've learned a lot of hard lessons. But we will probably have 6 the end of this year, and we're hoping for 6 next year. Trey and the Morgan Group has been a great asset for us. They're really helping us grow the way we want to and build relationships. So shout out to Trey. He's the best.
We love him.
Yes. But
How did y'all get connected with them?
so we originally, one of the ways we're funding our growth is through REITs. So basically, we'll work with a company that will buy the property that's for sale, and they'll fund the build, and then we kind of pay them rent over time. And so one of the REITs we're working with, they connected us. We told them we're looking for a really good developer. We're family owned, but we don't want to operate necessarily in that capacity when it comes to developing these properties, because it's a lot. And Florida has a lot of rules and regulations, and we have some humility. Like we don't know everything that's going on in Florida, right? So we want to work with people that do. And so they connected us with the Morgan Group, and immediately I think we kind of hit it off and realized this is going to be a really good long-term relationship.
Well, I have immense respect for Trey. I mean, he's a personal friend, but he's a great business person, has a wonderful reputation. Any of you listen to this episode, Trey Morgan and Derek Copeland were on this podcast recently. It's a wonderful one to listen to. And they've got, I mean, they're sort of all throughout the Southeast. So I'm thinking if you're growing in Southeast and Southwest Florida, I assume that those plans are to continue to grow further
Definitely.
north into Florida. I mean, do you grow? I always wonder about this with brands like this, and it sounds like you're doing this, is that you need to have a good, like a growing concentric circles of footprint so that you're not, I know you went from Oregon to Florida, but as you're probably not going to then go to Oklahoma next. Like, I'm assuming that your growth will probably be a lot in the areas where the demographics are, where the population's moving, and Florida is certainly one of those places. Is that how you plan to continue to grow?
Yeah, so the market we're focusing on right now is South Florida, both East and West Coast. And then I think we'll just slowly kind of work our way up North Florida, and then hopefully hop into other states as well. But Florida right now is our primary focus.
Yeah. Okay. Gotcha. And all right. So when I think of Florida, South Florida, and coffee, and I think it's hot, do you have, do people drink more cold brews there than they do?
Oh, yeah. Oh,
Cold
yeah.
coffee, cold foam on every drink, lots of blended drinks. We've got protein drinks. So,
Yeah. Let's put this into
yeah.
perspective. Today is like 40 degrees and we're still like only selling iced coffee.
Yeah.
So
It's crazy. Like
yeah.
It's
80
40 degrees there?
It is
Yeah,
freezing
it's
in
freezing.
Florida. Yes. I know everyone else is having like a snowstorm, but I mean, I quickly adjusted to the Florida climate. I lost my Oregon roots, so if it
Yeah.
drops below 50, I'm like shaking, and I am a hot coffee drinker still. So
It's all the way.
I never drink iced coffee. I think the true coffee drinkers drink it hot. Just saying.
Uh-oh.
Hot and black.
That's right.
That's how I roll. Yeah, I can't drink that. I can't drink it cold. I don't know why. Although I do, I love coffee ice cream. But well, so okay, so then what is the size of your typical footprint of one of these stores?
Yeah, so it's like 400 square feet.
Yeah.
We operate in a really small space.
Mm,
So I kind of took, before we opened our first store, I spent the 2 years prior updating our building design and our brand. So our buildings actually have it's still dual drive through and the inside looks pretty much the same, but the outside I completely re-updated. And so our look is really cool and I think it's really eye-catching. Because I think when you're driving around and you see even like, the Dutch Bros and the Seven Brew and the scooters, like they're a small footprint, but they're still bigger than us. And no shade, they still look a little bit like fast food like. And
Bright colors.
yeah, the reds and the blues and my goal with the our new building design was to look really modern and high end because I still want our customers to know like our coffee is high end. Like we've worked with our roaster out of Sumner, Washington for well over 20 years and our product is good. We partner with local bakers and we partner with a really cool bagel sandwich shop in Southwest called Stuff a Bagel. And so like everything we're serving is premium. We use powdered Ghirardelli chocolates for our drinks, right? Instead of the syrups you're going to get at other places. So I wanted our building to really reflect that. So even though it's small, it looks really kind of modern and cool. And then the dual drive-through concept means people can line up on either side of the building and get their order taken, get their coffee and go. So it's not kind of like right now, a lot of our competitors have two lanes going around the same way. Ours is opposing. So you can get in the shorter line.
We have a walk-up window as well. And we do mobile ordering, so you can order ahead.
Yeah. 50% of our sales are actually through our app. So our app is
50%. Okay.
Yeah, we have a lot. We really drive the app because it's convenient for our regulars. They can literally just go in and hit reorder because they're not changing their order very often. And it helps us because their ticket's going to print before they even get there. So we see, okay, Nate's on his way. We know his order by heart. Like, let's get his drink ready. So when he pulls up, we can actually have a quick conversation with him, right? So we really drive our app. And that's been a really cool part about coming into Florida as a new brand is our customers are accustomed to it. So it's really easy to get them to like, hey, download our app. Like, they're going to develop that habit right away versus Oregon. I think they had a little trouble because all their regulars were like, you have an app now. Like, oh, like, I don't know if I like that. So in Florida,
Mm.
we're really driving it hard because we're new. So our customers don't know any better, right?
Did you design that app?
I
Uh,
did, yeah. So I designed our app, our website, and our building for Florida.
okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So that's your app.
Yeah.
Um, do you have a loyalty program?
Yes, so our customers earn points with every purchase. So it's a little bit like Starbucks where you get points for so we encourage our customers to load money into our app because they get points for loading and points for spending. Uh,
Mm.
so they have kind of like a wallet on their app and they get double points if they're loading and spending. And then also all of our promotions are through the app. So we don't really do promotions outside of it. We partner with a lot of like local businesses and do promotions that way. But like we have Monday through Friday rush hour, which is going to be from 3 to 6 p.m. and they get $1 off their drink if you're using the app. So that's like a really big incentive to get customers on the app, um, and helps our baristas also not have to go out and take orders. Because we do a lot of, we call it line busting, where if there is a line, we do have someone go out with their handheld and take their order at the car because we still really want that drink ready when you pull up to the window if it's busy. So that alleviates pressure on us if all half of our customers are putting in their order ahead.
And there's no speaker box, so everything is face to face, which
Yeah.
we think is really important as well.
I like that. Yes. Yes. Good.
Yeah.
Good. Keep
So
doing
we
that
do have digital menu boards, but
Yeah.
either someone's outside taking your order or you're getting your order taken out the window.
at
Yeah.
the window.
Yeah.
Okay. Good. Good.
Yeah.
Just because you can use that stuff doesn't mean you should, right? Like if you're baking humanity into your value proposition, that's such a big part of that not to lose.
Yeah, definitely. And we still, we have new customers every day and we want to be able to walk them through the menu.
Yeah.
They've never been here. We want to be able to tell them like these are our best sellers, but like let's like what do you drink? Do you drink hot ice or blended? Like let's figure out what your order is going to be. And that's hard when you're just looking at a menu and speaking through a box. Like you get kind of no direction. It's so impersonal.
And that was a huge part of our training. So we did orientation, and that was like the first thing we went through was the history, our most popular drinks. How do you recommend drinks to customers? Because so many times you go to our competitors and you'll be like, hey, what's your favorite drink? And they go, I don't drink coffee. And
That happens more than you would think
yeah,
because we go to
Yeah.
our competitors, kind of just like test it out. Like, like, oh, I don't know what to get. What's the best seller? And they'll be like, oh, I don't drink coffee, but the Snickers mocha is amazing. And it's like, okay, like I don't want something
it's
like
super sweet.
super sweet and all that. And they don't know what to recommend. So we have employees that only drink matcha. So they're not going to be like super knowledgeable of their favorite coffee drinks, but you have to be able to talk about what's trending and what other customers love so you can help the customer you're speaking to figure out what they're going to enjoy, right?
Absolutely. Absolutely. So okay, you've got people that go out with a handheld and you've got Lloyd. What is your point of sale that y'all use?
Host.
So you use Toast. Okay, so that's your
Mhm.
handheld. All right. Um, and then your loyalty program is built in through that's your program.
Yes.
I want to tell you an idea. So
Uh,
I'm obsessed with this. Like I've been trying to manifest this forever. And I want this to be something that I hope that coffee shops and small businesses will do at scale one day. But so it's based on the pay it forward idea.
mhm.
So the coffee shop that I go in, I do have my Keurig here, but I go to a coffee shop, the Daily Grind here in Waxhaw, North Carolina, almost every day. And one of the things I'll often do is I will hand them a $5 bill and I'll say to the barista, use this today on whoever you think needs it. Maybe you want to do it for an on-duty cop. Maybe you want to do it for a mom who has looks tired with a baby and that's screaming or whatever. Just whoever you think, offer it to them to pay for their coffee, and then just tell me the story the next time you see me. And like we've been doing this for a while, and it's so much fun. It's so awesome.
Yeah, I love that.
And I've always tried to figure out, like, how do you do this? How could you digitize this and make this like something that could be done at scale? And then it hit me one day when I went into the shop. Um, they said, "Well, you have 50 points." And I was like, "Well, what does that mean?" And they're like, "Well, you get $5 off." I'm like, wait a minute. So if you had a pay it forward loyalty program, then you could say, would you like to use that or would you like to pay it forward? And then that would give the coffee shop the ability to have this like bank of pay it forward money baked in
Yeah,
that, a barista could go, "Hey, John, it looks like looks like you're hustling through here today. Yeah, man, I'm late for work. Hey, you know what? We got your coffee today. Have a good day. We took care of that for you." Like
yeah,
somebody paid it forward. Like,
yeah.
I don't know. Is that crazy or is that something that would,
Not at all. I mean, I think back to the connection piece, like little things like that are so impactful. And back if I went to a coffee shop that's not my own and someone paid for my coffee, I would be like blown away. Like that's so sweet. So I love that idea of finding a way to make it more accessible for our current customers to do that because I think everyone has that in them. They want to, because it makes you feel good, right? If you're buying someone else's coffee, you're going to feel
yes.
so good doing that. And so making it more accessible is such a good idea.
Yeah,
Let's do it,
we
Sam.
should do
Let's
it.
steal Will's idea.
We're stealing your idea. We'll report back.
No, do it, please. Y'all, I got this idea like 6, 7 years ago. It was pre-COVID. I was in a coffee shop in Raleigh, North Carolina, and they actually had a chalkboard and it said pay it forward. And it was right by the register, this huge chalkboard on the wall. And I was like, well, what is this? And they said, well, you can give us money, and then however much you give us, you can write that amount on the chalkboard, and then you can write who gets to use it. So there was like all these examples and I just wrote $5 and I wrote anybody, right? And I was like, well, if I'm going to just go sit and work and like, I just wanted to watch how this went down. And like somebody came in a little while later and they're like, they used it and they're like, oh, cool. And then I went back up and like gave them more money. And then, and then, so it was just so fun to watch that. And I was like, what a cool thing. Like, what if you could like scale this? Like how good, this was a long time ago when we were, had a little bit less, anxiety and fracturing in our society. I think now, like ways to do that at scale. And you're right. You nailed it, Tess. Like I feel great doing it. It's
Yeah.
awesome. It's very selfish in a way because it's like gives you this. It's something you mentioned earlier. This dopamine rush. And right now we've got these screens and these apps that are designed to give us these little dopamine hits. But and so, like you said, the younger generation has grown up on these things, my kids included, where you don't realize that is nothing compared to the dopamine you get with like a genuine human connection and human interaction and doing something like that where, hey, you just got 50 points. You've got $5 in credit. You want to use that today or do you want to pay it forward? Well, what do you mean pay it forward? Well, we have this program and you can, and you know how many people will be like, dude, pay that forward, man. Use
Oh,
that on
I think
somebody else.
more
Like,
people would do it that way than to use them for themselves if you give them the option.
do it. There it is. Y'all could be the
Yes.
first
Yes.
coffee shops in the country to do this like at scale and get this momentum. My goal, I literally wrote a blog post last summer. I said, I want to usher in a global pay it forward movement. Like you kind of have to like put it out there, right? And so now I'm like, it's not if, it's just when. So I talk about this a lot. I'm talking to one of the point of sale companies about this. That's why I asked you your point of sale. I got a big point of sale company right now that serves a lot of coffee shops. I'm like, guys, like this is like, you got to do this. So anyway,
No, I love that idea. I
It's
think
such a great idea. And the thing is, too, if you're a local at that coffee shop, then you know your barista and they're going to come back and be like, well, we gave the pay it forward to this customer and they were in tears. You know what I mean? And like,
yes,
how good does that make you feel?
Yeah.
y'all are, I got chills right now. Y'all are totally vibing this the way I do because
Yeah.
you're going to make them feel great. And then that's going to make customers be even more loyal. And you're going to have this thing that you can actually market and say, we like that can be part of your, what you do is we have a pay it forward program here. And, we're ushering in, good vibes and people,
Yeah.
paying it forward to other people. And I don't know. I mean, if you can figure it out technically, it's probably a pretty cool thing to try.
Absolutely. We're gonna
Yeah.
do it.
We
When we go viral, we'll give you the credit, okay?
Yeah, we'll give you the
I don't need, no, just do it. It's a good thing for society. It would be a
Well,
great
we've
thing. I
had
mean,
customers, like one of our brokers came by and he was like, "Here's $80, put it on a gift card and give it to people
Yeah.
that you think deserve it," you know? And so we
yep.
do have customers that are just like, "Throw this on a gift card
Yeah.
and use it."
But they have to initiate it, right? So
Yeah.
having that option just right in front of you of like, I would every time be like,
Yeah.
pay it forward.
Well, that's when the light bulb went off because it's a lot hard. Like we're always asked now, like, I mean, even checking out the grocery store, do you want to round up for this or round up for that? And it's like, golly, like maybe, and I feel bad not, but I don't even know what that charity is and where does the money go. But this
Right.
is just like, you've already got the credit. You
Yeah.
can use it, like, go for it. We can buy your drink right now. Or if you want, you can pay it for whatever, like low key.
Yeah.
So many people will be like, oh, dude,
Mhm.
let's pay that forward. Just tell me the story next. And you can say like, hey, we'll tell you the story the next time you're in or whatever. And then like people, I love it when I go in there and they're like, they told me the other day, some mom was like, that was the example I used. Like her kid was like screaming and like, like in a stroller and the mom looked really stressed. And they're like, we got your coffee. And she was like,
Yeah.
what? Like, it's this pay it forward thing we do. So,
Yeah. That's a really great idea. I love it.
Yeah. Well, definitely.
well, you mentioned something earlier saying, and I, I think this is a really important part of hospitality in general. More important than ever right now is that you have people that come in there, they're high school kids, they're college kids. Um, when you're teaching them the importance of the human connection and the interaction and just taking a minute to hold that eye contact a little longer, to not act, to ask about their day, to be present and to be engaged.
Mhm.
It doesn't take that long for somebody to recognize, like, this person's actually, like, cares about me, and everybody wants all human beings want validation, and we wanna feel like we matter, and when you cultivate that and help people learn to bake that into how they interact with other people, you're giving them these soft skills that are highly transferable to anything they go on to do. Because hospitality is not just something we provide in a place where there is food and beverage. I mean, the reason the book Unreasonable Hospitality is blown up is because people are reading it in offices and I have a friend whose wife's in a doctor's office and they're reading Unreasonable Hospitality now. It's like how all businesses should provide hospitality to their customers in the way that they engage with their customers. And what is hospitality? It's basically just making people feel important and making them feel welcome, right? Like, isn't that what that is all about? So teaching them those skills, they won't realize it maybe now, but they'll realize as they grow that, like, wow, this is a differentiator for me as a person it's helping me be successful.
Yeah. I think everyone should have a customer service job in their life, especially when you're young. You learn so many skills. And just in the 3 months we've been open, I've seen our employees grow so much. And I always tell them, I'm like, look, you're not going to want to come in to this job every day and talk your people's ears off. You're not going to want to. You're going to have bad days. You're not going to be in a talkative mood. But when you start doing it, when you force yourself to do it, your mood is going to shift so much over the few hours you're in this shop, and you're going to go home and you're going to feel so much better. And when you're actively trying to be genuine with people, it even like furthers that, right? I mean, it's funny. There's this coffee shop in LA. I go visit LA a lot since I used to live there. And I won't say the name, but I was going with my friend and she was like, watch, you're going to go and they're going to give you a compliment. And sure enough, I went and ordered my coffee and they gave me a compliment on my earrings. And like, okay, that's nice, but that wasn't genuine. Like, that didn't feel like you actually saw me and gave me a genuine compliment. Like, you do that to everyone. But when you really, like, are intentional and you learn their names, we put all of our regulars that come every day, their name and their coffee order on our fridge with a little whiteboard marker. And we tell them, like, "Look, hey, you're on our fridge." Like,
Yeah.
"Oh, it's so cool." And we have customers that, you know, maybe I haven't even met yet, and they come in and I'm like, "Hi, how's it going?" He's like, "Hi, I'm Ryan. My name's on the fridge." I'm like, "Oh, okay.
They're a regular.
Let's see what your drink order is." And then it's fun and playful and that just authentic interaction, it goes so far and our employees have grown up so much because of it. And now we have, employees wanting to work with us long term. I think coffee shops have a lot of turnover. And it's
Mm.
because, your employees, they're naturally going to be younger. We even employ a couple high schoolers right now who come in after school and they do our closing shifts. And we have multiple employees telling us, like, I didn't expect to want to work here long term, but because you're growing so rapidly in Florida and there's opportunity for
Mhm.
me, I want to be considered for leadership. So what do I have to do for you to promote me into leadership when that opportunity comes up? And that's so rewarding for Sam and I because, as being a leader for younger people, like that's all you can ask for is for them to love the company and want to continue working for you because they enjoy it so much.
Amen. Um, as a family-owned growing business, you present an opportunity to a lot of these young folks that many of them don't recognize.
Mhm.
But if one of my kids were working for you, I'd be like, look, don't just view this as a stopover. Like they're family owned, they have good values, they're growing their business. You can grow within this business. This business is going to continue to thrive and grow. Coffee's always been around. Coffee's always going to be around. When they have a very service oriented culture, that's not going to go away. It's the businesses that grow too fast and scale so fast that have so much technology and just it's all churn and burn. It's like, yeah, I mean, like, cool. I heard about it. I went, but like I'm not going back. And what you're doing is you're creating a loyal tribe of
Mhm.
regular customers. And as you grow that, the business grows with it and you
Yeah.
expand and you continue to replicate that so that I would suggest that anybody that, is looking for something they may not have thought they'd be looking for, but starts to realize the opportunities there, it's a really good decision. And quite frankly, you mentioned you have college students. Look, there's a lot of weird stuff going on in the economy right now, and there's a lot of college students that are coming out. I mean, if you got an engineering degree or a coding degree, I don't know, like, there's a lot AI is taking over a lot of stuff and things are it's things are changing. And so, unfortunately, that model, in my opinion, that model, and you're talking to a guy who's got two kids in college and one getting ready to go, but I think that model is starting to break apart a little bit because what we're learning there is not necessarily as transferable into the economy we're moving into. But I will say that one thing that will always be transferable, in my opinion, is interpersonal skills, salesmanship, persuasion, um, hospitality, customer service, just the soft skills of making people feel like they matter. Man, that's not going away. And so, um, that's
We
kind of my pitch for why anybody like listening to this that's thinking about getting it. Like, this is a great opportunity. I mean, I can tell you right now, if I had a kid and we were down there, I'd be like, go work for these folks.
Yeah.
This is a
Well,
great place to
yeah.
be.
And I think, we have the unique opportunity of promoting really young people into leadership roles. And I think people underestimate the power of having like assistant manager or manager on your resume when you're in college, right? In your later years of college. I mean, if someone has the maturity and the drive and the loyalty to our business, we're going to promote you no matter what age you are because we value you and we want to work with you to help you grow. And having that on your resume, whatever your degree is going to take you far. So it's really cool to see our younger employees in their early 20s have access to that opportunity of like, wow, I can put manager on my resume.
Mhm.
That's That's a good thing.
And they really step up and they ask a lot of, questions about the business. Like, how does this work? And how do I get more regular customers? And they come to us with ideas of how to promote, what events we can do. And we have 3 on our team right now that are studying business. They're either in their master's program or in their undergrad. And all 3 of them are interested, in kind of growing with Coffee Rush and what that looks like. Whether it's jumping to another store or the other side of the state, there's so much opportunity, and I think that really excites them to be with a new brand.
Yeah. It's funny, I popped in this morning and we were having a really good a really good day. Our numbers were really up. And I walked in and the girls immediately were like, "We're up 20% this morning." And I'm like,
Yeah, they track
"You
it.
guys track that? Like, that's so cool." Like, when they know they're busy, they're checking numbers, like, they wanna do so well. And so it just warms my heart to see that because, we've only been open 3 months of this store, and already our employees are so invested in this store's success. Like, what more could you ask for, you know?
Yeah, we're so lucky.
Talk about, I want to change gears just a little bit because I'm always, as a coffee drinker, I'm always fascinated with this, just the changing dynamics of coffee prices and tariffs and, seasonal issues with certain countries how do you, I mean, how has that been? How is it going? Has coffee continued to go up in price? It seems like I'm paying a lot when I don't mind. I pay for the service. Like when I go into the daily grind, I pay just for the atmosphere and the service and everything else. And I'm kind of frugal, so it's more than I want to spend on coffee, but I always do it because I'm like, I just love being here. It's like an investment in my time.
Yeah, and coffee's kinda always that one thing you can justify, like, I do it. I justify expensive coffee every day when I can't go to my own shop and get it, right? I don't see the prices of coffee going down anytime soon. It has been going up significantly the last few years. We're really blessed. We have a great relationship with our roaster, Delano's. So we are able to kind of still get decent pricing, but it's still going up, right? So, um, unfortunately, like we have to adjust our prices to reflect that, but we're not one of those shops that's going to be charging you $8 for a 12 ounce.
No.
Like we charge the least amount we can because it does pain me when coffee prices go up. And unfortunately, things in Florida in general are a bit more expensive than Oregon. Like our milks are more expensive. There's not as much infrastructure yet in Florida for coffee shops. So in Oregon, if you run out of something, you can run to like Restaurant Depot and get it. Whereas here,
They don't have it.
they don't care to coffee shops at all. So it's much harder to get access to what you need at a lower price. So it's unfortunate, and I don't think they're going down anytime soon, but it's also an industry-wide thing. So we all are dealing with it and we all have to have that competitive pricing.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, it's definitely like when it comes to complaints, we don't get hardly any on customer service or taste or anything. It normally comes down to price. And I know everyone is kind of dealing with that because, like we've been talking about, coffee is an everyday thing. So you have to justify spending that money every day, right?
Yep. Yep. What about how do people, other than driving by word of mouth, like, do you put a lot of emphasis on trying to be found on Google when people are looking for like best coffee in Naples or wherever? Like,
We do. We don't spend money on like optimizing our Google, but we really encourage people to leave reviews. And we get amazing Google reviews, even when we don't encourage customers. I think almost every day we get a positive review on Google. So I know that really helps our business a lot. Um, Honestly, it's funny. Whenever a new customer comes up, we ask them, "Oh, how did you hear about us?" And um,
So,
the number one answer, I hate saying
uh,
this, is TikTok.
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 wow.
Yeah.
Yes, we get customers because it's such a thing now. And again, Sam and I are too old for this,
Yeah.
even though we have to deal with it. But we get customers that will come and they'll get their coffee and
Do
they
a review.
film the whole thing.
Mhm.
And so I have been in people's TikToks that
Didn't even
I
know.
don't know, and I'm cool with it. Like if you're
Yeah.
listening, like I don't mind, and none of our girls
Yeah.
mind because that's just how things are now. But TikTok is the number one answer we get when we ask customers how did they hear about us. And we've had a handful, quote unquote, go viral in the Fort Myers area. And it's so interesting to me because I guess I'm more of the Instagram generation. Like that came out when I was in high school. And so Instagram's more of like an aesthetic, like you want to post like the nice photos and all that.
Yeah.
But the
Right.
TikToks, people will just film whatever. They're driving in their car and they're like, I just got this coffee from Coffee Rush. It's so good, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, "Ugh, it does well. I don't know. So, I mean, thank you to all my customers who post
Yeah,
TikToks.
they
I
go.
love you guys. That is for sure the number one answer we get.
We
So,
did have a day where we went viral. So, a coffee influencer in the area posted a video and we didn't know it was being posted. We didn't know. And then the next day we woke up, we went to work, and all of a sudden we had lines out to the freeway. And we were like, and everyone was saying, I saw you on TikTok. And it reached like over 80,000 people just in Lee County.
yeah. And mind you, this was 2 weeks after
2 weeks
opening. Our
in.
employees were not trained.
Yeah.
I have that is one of the most stressful days of my life.
Oh, by far. I was
Okay.
the only one trained on bar. I was like,
Yeah.
here we go. We're making
Yeah.
hundreds of drinks.
We were sweating.
Yeah.
Sweating. Oh my gosh,
And
it was
we
crazy.
put Tessa's dad on dish
Oh,
duty.
my dad was
Yeah.
visiting. He was washing dishes. That not a family business right
Yeah, I
there?
was
My
like,
dad was
"Ron, help."
yeah, he was washing dishes.
That's so awesome. That's so awesome. A coffee influencer. I didn't even know. I mean, like, what?
Yeah. And we had no
And
idea.
we are
We woke
so
up, it was
grateful
just
for her.
another normal day, and
Yeah.
so we didn't staff for this at all.
No.
So it was really crazy, but it's also really cool, like, that
Cool story to tell.
yeah, it's, that a customer and we've become friends with the customer and, we were like, "Let's do another one for our grand opening." We did, and it also did pretty well, so it's cool how it works. I don't know if I relate to TikTok as much, but it's for sure the number one driver for getting new customers. So I tell my younger employees, I'm like, if there's a gap in the day, like maybe those hours between lunch and when people get off work, it's naturally dips a little bit. I'm like, go make a TikTok,
Yeah.
please go. So
That's hilarious. Well, the good thing about that is it gets people there. The challenge is always, of course, do they come once or do
Yeah.
they keep coming back, right? Because your business is built on regulars, and that day could be a negative thing if like an influencer does it and everybody's like, yeah, took me
yeah,
forever, and then like they're making like negative. So
yeah.
that's like a tricky balance, I would think.
Absolutely. And it's totally out of your control, right? I mean, as far
Yeah.
as what they're going to post, of course, you want to deliver a good experience every time, and that's in your control. But sometimes you can't help it. And if someone's having a bad day and there was a long line and then they didn't love their coffee and they're like, I'm going to post about TikTok. And it's like, it's scary. But, I do think when you focus on having a really good interaction, it's really hard for people to post negativity, even if their coffee was made incorrectly, right?
Boom.
Yeah.
Nailed it. You can always make up for it with the way you treat people
Yeah.
and the way you yes, absolutely. Do you all listen to podcasts or like where do you learn from outside of your family? Where do you learn more about either hospitality or business or, just enhance your knowledge about running businesses?
Yeah, I think podcasts are great and also Instagram, honestly, like curating your feed to where the videos you're watching are more in that area, I think is really helpful, paying attention to what competitors are doing, what works for them.
Mhm.
I mean, I say competitors, but like we actually love all the other drive-through coffee shops and we love Starbucks too. Honestly, like if they're successful, there's a reason.
Mhm.
And what are they doing better than us that we could do and that we could implement? So I think learning from each other is so important and not looking at them as like the enemy trying to steal your business, but actually like a rising tide lifts all ships, right? So like how can we work together? And thankfully in Florida, I felt like the coffee community is really positive here
Mhm.
and everyone wants everyone to succeed. And so getting connected with the community. And it doesn't even have to be coffee, but getting connected with other business owners. And on the development side, like people like Trey and anyone else we work with, like what advice do they have, right? I mean, the Morgan Group works with a lot of hospitality companies. Like, what advice do they have? So I think learning from people is so important and taking what you can get. I think that's it. People don't always realize that now.
You have a very healthy perspective on competition, and I admire that. And I think that there's a guy in Greenville, South Carolina, Carl Sobocinski. He's like kind of a legendary restaurateur
Mhm.
in South Carolina. Has a bunch of great restaurants in Greenville. And I was down there visiting with him a couple years ago, and across the street from his sort of flagship restaurant, this new development was going up, new hotel, two really nice high-end restaurants, and he's got this nice high-end. I said, "Does that worry you? You know, that these two places are right across the street?" He's like, "Worry me?" He's like, "I love it because it just brings more people to this area, and when they're in the mood for Italian, they'll go to Indako, and when they're in the mood for sushi, they'll go to Oku, and when they're in the mood for what we do, they'll come to Sobeys." But like that just brings more people to this area. Like that's a great thing, and it only keeps us make keeps us sharp and make sure that we're on our toes all the time and treating
Yeah.
people well. So when they do come here, so I think that's a really healthy way to look at that.
Yeah, I mean, I think if, you see that other drive-through coffee shops are doing well and you're also trying to do your best, like there's no negativity in that, right? Like you should be able to learn from each other and of course hold yourself accountable. Like, I think it's the people that maybe don't want to put the work in that get angry about competition coming in
Mhm.
close to them because that puts pressure on you, right? But I think that pressure is really healthy and good.
Makes you grow and get out of your
Yeah.
comfort zone. And I think
Yeah.
that's so important. If you just stay the same, you're not going to go very far.
Mm, that's right. That's right. Exactly. Um, Well, I will tell you that there is this podcast called Restaurant Owners Uncorked that's got
Oh,
wonderful
I've heard.
examples.
I did. I listened to your Lola Beans one.
Oh, you did?
I did. Yeah.
Donnie
Yeah.
Brown. Yeah. Yeah. Out
Really,
there in
really cool
Tennessee.
story hearing him because of a lot of similarities. And he talked about, I think her name was Jenna in Alaska and kind of how
Yes.
that's the foundation for him and opening drive-through coffee shops and hearing his story of his expansion in Texas. And I was like, wow, this is very relatable.
Absolutely. In fact, I saw recently, I think on LinkedIn that he and his wife were back there in Alaska, kind of going back to their roots and went back to that same shop. That's cool. Thank you for listening. That's awesome. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, we were lucky. We have a lot of great folks like y'all in here that come and share their stories. And, the goal with this podcast, we started it 16 years ago. And I mean, trust me, I had to beg people to come on here because nobody knew what a podcast was then. And they were like, why would I come tell you my like who's going to listen? But our goal was always to educate and inspire. And part of that education sometimes has been, gosh, I thought I wanted to get in the restaurant business, but now I realize what's really behind it. So maybe not. But then also inspire and help each other learn and grow. And then sometimes I have people tell me, I listen. It's almost like therapy because I realize I'm not the only one dealing with like all these like crazy challenges and things like that. So, um, well, y'all do a good job of asking your customers for reviews. I'll ask you if you would go on Spotify or Apple
I
podcast.
have to.
5 star.
Give us a 5-star, throw a comment in there. That helps us grow. So, y'all, this has been really awesome. And I love what you're doing. I love your approach. I love your infectious, positive attitude about it. And I, I need to find, I need to find a time to get down to South Florida. So tell me where are you sitting right now? What city are you in?
So we're in Fort Myers, Florida right now.
Okay.
We're literally 2 minutes from our coffee shop.
Okay.
And then our second store is opening up in this area as well. And then on the east side, we're growing kind of out of Stuart, Florida.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. What help me with the geography a little bit. Like if I'm familiar with Miami and Fort
Sure.
Lauderdale.
Yeah. So Stuart, Florida is going to be like an hour to an hour and a half north of Miami. So you
Okay.
can stay up Boca, West Palm, Stuart, Jupiter. Is
Okay.
Yeah. And then we are about 2 hours east of Miami and Fort Myers.
2 hours east. And then when you say east, southeast, and southwest, are you also over there in like
I'm sorry, west, not west.
Naples and places like
Yeah,
that?
so Naples is
45 minutes.
it's right next to us.
Okay. Okay. Got it. Got it. How far is Melbourne from where you are? Daytona Beach, that
That's
kind of
far. That's
Yeah,
way north.
6 hours, right?
that's
Yeah.
way north.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Florida's freaking huge. I was down in a hunting trip in Melbourne a couple of weeks ago, and I get confused like how big Florida really is. It's just massive. I mean,
Yeah.
like from Jacksonville to Miami is like a day's drive or something like that.
I will say Florida is an amazing spot to start a business. I know a lot of young business owners really doing well in Florida. I think so many people are moving here. Areas like Fort Myers are growing exponentially. A lot of young people are moving here,
Mm.
and the people are hungry for new businesses and local businesses. They're so tired of the big chains because that's all they've had for so long. So I think Florida in general is a wonderful state to start a business in, no matter what it is. But
There's so much opportunity. We
there
lack a
is.
lot of, especially in the restaurants and
Yeah.
coffee. There's just not a lot of restaurants locally owned or coffee shops, even like cafes here.
Yeah.
And Cape Coral was the fastest growing city in Southwest Florida, and I think it still is.
Which is right next
Yeah.
to Fort Myers.
Right
So,
next to Fort Myers.
yeah.
The last question I have is, what do we do with this thing long term? Your parents are still involved. Did they retire? Do y'all just keep this in the family and keep growing? Do you think you'll,
Yeah.
yeah,
I mean, the plan is to keep it in the family and, hopefully I won't let my parents retire yet, unfortunately for them, but eventually in the next few years, I hope that they can, just watch the company grow from the sidelines and help out when they want, but also, live a good retired life and grow as big and best as we can, keeping it in the family. Um, I think that's the goal right now, We want to do 40 stores over the next 5 years, and then beyond that, let's get into the hundreds. Why not? I mean, I think we have really great momentum right now. We have a really great mission. We're good people. We want to serve a good experience, and I think if anything, this first store has shown that people are really hungry for that. And so I have really a positive outlook on the future and how big we can grow in Florida alone and then hopefully other states.
are you the only, do you have siblings or any
I
other
have an
family?
older brother. Yeah, he's not in the family business. He is in special forces. So right now he's in Taiwan.
Oh,
So he's on an entirely different life journey.
Different mission.
Yes, different mission for him. But yeah, so it's just me and my parents.
special forces. What branch of the military?
So Army, he's a Green Beret.
Oh, he's a badass. Okay.
He is a badass. He got the badass genes, okay?
Hey, you're still a badass.
Yeah.
No, you're a
He's
badass
just not
too.
living up.
I just meant in a different way.
Yeah, no, yeah, he's
Way.
killing it. He's doing really well. It's his fourth deployment right now. So he's
Well, what's his name?
Colin Yost.
Colin Yost. I will keep calling in my prayers for
Thank
his
you. I
safety.
appreciate that. Yeah.
Yes, absolutely. Wow, y'all, what a great conversation. I cannot thank you enough. I really appreciate it. Trey, I'm sure at some point you'll listen to this. Thank you so much
Got
for the
Yeah.
introduction.
it.
Y'all got a winner there.
Yeah.
Y'all did really well there. He's a great dude. And
No.
he will help you get to that
Yeah.
for his part to that 40
Yeah.
stores and then 100 stores.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I want to thank you. I think
Yes,
it's
thank
awesome
you.
that you have a platform for people like us. It's really cool to get on here and talk to you and talk about our business because we are still small family owned, and giving people a platform to talk about that. I think people are so accustomed to listening to like the big retailers, but you know, there's so much to gather from everyone's personal story. And so to give people a platform to share that and that other people can learn is so cool. So
Yeah, it's
keep
very
doing what you're
inspiring.
doing. Yeah.
Oh, I will, and I'll tell you, like, the last thing I'll say is, like, there was a time, like, we get a lot of, PR agents that will come to us now and say, "Can we have this person on or that person on?" And if it's like a growing franchise, heck yes. If it's a restaurant owner or a group of restaurants, heck yes. But what I've learned, because I've done this, is that when you get I won't mention the brands, but I've had some CEOs of some really like big nationally known franchise organizations, which I was like, yeah, we landed this person. But you know what? Again, nothing against them, but it's just not relatable. They're
Yeah.
sort of like when you're the CEO of this big national, franchise with thousands of you're on script. You're going to get all the talking points. You're going to come back to
Yeah.
you're going to stay like in your lane. And it
Yeah.
doesn't just feel like I like to have really authentic, just authentic conversations and let the conversation just kind of flow like water. And I enjoy that, and I know our audience enjoys that. There's other places for those folks,
Yeah.
but I've learned, okay, we had a couple of those, cool, not doing those again. Like this is
You
what I care about,
you
and
get
I
the
think our
real
audience cares
story
about.
with companies like us. You get the real story. Like we get to come on here, share what we've learned, be transparent, and then someone else who, like you said earlier, is maybe thinking about going into hospitality can probably learn so much more from a smaller business who's going to tell you all the good, bad, and ugly versus someone bigger that has to stay on script, right? So I think it's so valuable what you're doing, giving a platform for smaller businesses to share their stories.
Yeah, I think it really gives them a lot of hope and encourages them.
Yeah.
Well, thank you, and keep listening, and let's stay in touch. And
Yeah,
this is
yeah.
it's just like the pay it forward thing. Like I do this because I get like it rewards me. So it's probably partially selfish because I'm obsessed with just helping other people and hearing their stories. So yeah, but I'm telling you, figure that pay it forward
We'll
thing out.
do it.
We will.
We'll do it.
We will.
It's on our list.
It'll be freaking cool. That would be, if you do, let me know. I would, I
Absolutely.
would, I'd be elated. So, all right, y'all, we will wrap this up. I appreciate it. Thank you all for listening, all of our audience, and to all of you. Just a reminder, take 5 seconds. Give us a 5-star review. It makes a difference because the algorithms see that and they put this content in front of more people. So, if you like this, take a second. I know you're the person right now going, somebody else will do it, but they won't. So do it. And thank y'all. We'll have a good one.
Thank you. Bye.